Alright guys, Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA 5 video, what I'm going to be doing is showing you guys some potential spots of the MC Clubhouses based off of the information we know so far, a little bit of the new details that were revealed in photos yesterday, and just kind of previous knowledge of what we know of the Grand Theft Auto 5 world. So let's start with what was released yesterday. This is actually a brand new 4K screenshot of the inside of what I'm assuming is one of these MC Clubhouses. Now, thanks to the fact that this is in 4K, we get a little bit more information here in terms of the reveal and the possible location, but there isn't a whole lot that Rockstar have provided us with here. There's three things that I noticed. Number one, it looks like we're underground. You can tell this by the concrete slab walls. You can also tell this based on where the windows are placed, which are at the very top. That's a number two thing that I was looking for when searching for these possible locations is windows that look kind of small like that at the very top. And also, it looks like there's a garage connected as well. As you can see, standing behind this sort of NPC, there is a garage, which would lead that you would like back up a truck or something like that if you wanted to deliver the drugs that those people were making. So as far as looking for locations in game, those are three things that I kept in the back of my mind. And also, from the newswire yesterday, Rockstar stated that properties like MC Clubhouses will include a special custom biker mechanic as well, which would also indicate to me that there would need to be a special entrance into this clubhouse or a special garage for bikers, and that it might only be sized for bikes, meaning that other big vehicles wouldn't necessarily need to fit into something like this. So those are the things I looked for from the newswire yesterday, and then basically what I did was just use my previous knowledge of Grand Theft Auto 5 to pick out some spots and locations that would ultimately make sense to me for MC biker clubhouses in the game. So let's start with the most obvious location first, and that would be the biker gang hideout right next to the casino in Los Santos. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be moving from most obvious to kind of least obvious, and the reason this one is the most obvious is, number one, bikers already hang out here, so we know for a fact it is a biker clubhouse. Number two, it's got the Lost MC insignias all over it, and number three, it was built like it was originally supposed to be a clubhouse. You can tell this based off of the opening garage door. The windows look like they kind of match as well. You also see various garage logos and Lost MC logos that are hanging around this area too. But also, and thanks to another user on YouTube, GTA Expert, who's provided this footage and very kindly allowed me to use it, there's actually a full-blown interior for this biker bar. I'm sure you guys have seen this before, but what this also could do is give us a better insight onto how the features of the inside of this clubhouse are going to work. So I'll leave a full link to his video in the description because I'm only going to be showing off some of it here, but like I said, you can still see some of the features that look to be included inside of this biker clubhouse, and to me, that is extremely cool. One of the first things I noticed, at least from this video, was how spacey it looks to be on the inside, especially because we're going to be allowed to have 8 other members as a part of our crew. That's one thing I thought about the CEO offices, is they did get a little bit tight when you got a lot of people in there. So I'm wondering if these interiors will be capped at 8 people, or like the CEO office, you'll be able to essentially invite everyone and anyone in the lobby you want to inside of the game. So that's pretty cool right there. That's location number one. As I mentioned earlier, that's probably the most obvious choice right there, just because of its use currently in game. Let's move on to location number two, which is Slab City. So Slab City is where the Lost MC were located in the campaign. Luckily for us, Grand Theft Auto Online takes place before the campaign, so even though in the gameplay you're seeing right now, the trailers are destroyed and whatnot, in game they would not be. And there's one particular spot in the Lost MC trailer park that sticks out to me, and it's this auto body repair shop. And we'll be seeing many other buildings like this in game, so that's something you need to be on the lookout for also. So it's got like a perfect size kind of garage space for storing motorcycles, for bringing it inside, and I'm assuming this entire area could almost be utilized as an MC clubhouse, but there's a building connected to it as well that could serve as the clubhouse portion. So this was another great location that I noticed in game would be super cool. Once again, I know it's almost too obvious for Rockstar to use, but it is set up really perfectly, and it's in a great location too, up there in Sandy Shores. Another location that might be obvious too, but you also might have forgotten about, is a restaurant called Hookie's. Now, Hookie's is located on the exact same road that Fort Zancudo is located, just north of it. And Hookie's in-game is actually a very common Lost MC biker clubhouse. It's a purchasable property in-game, but when you drive by here in single player and even in Grand Theft Auto Online, you'll notice that Lost MC bikers are hanging out at this location. So it's another good spot as well. It's located in Blaine County, which I know is something you guys would probably like. Now, the only thing I didn't see about this location that would make sense is there was no real garage that I could see, and there also didn't look to be those windows that we identified at the very start of the game. So even though the bikers would be very prevalent and are very prevalent in this area, because the building lacked those key features, I had a hard time, figuring out that this could be a location that ultimately could be used for one of the biker clubhouses. So although that's a great spot, I just can't see it ultimately being used. Let's move on to a few other locations. There's actually some pretty cool garages inside of Los Santos. Now, even though I do believe the majority of this DLC will be focused around Blaine County, Sandy Shores, Palito Bay, I do think that there will be some locations within the city as well for biker MC clubhouses. This first one here, you might recognize from the campaign as well. It is an old abandoned Hayes auto body shop. Now, this one is pretty awesome because it's this entire garage that has these sliding doors and whatnot. Now, the only reason I'm kind of worried about this is it's used in the campaign, and as I'll talk on a little bit later, I don't think Rockstar is going to want to overlap campaign locations and places where cutscenes take place, just because of the way that might interfere with the way the story goes. Just like traditionally in Grand Theft Auto Online, we really don't see anything to do with Michael's house or Franklin's house or anything that has to do with really the campaign. I think that the same thing might apply here, where because this was used for Devin Weston's kind of pickup missions, we might not see it. Although it is perfect, it's got windows that kind of match up almost perfectly to a T. It's got the garage, Hayes Auto Body Repair. That would make sense for motorcycle repairs. So even though it's attached to the campaign, that's one location that I could see being pretty awesome. And then if we move on to the industrial side of Los Santos, this one's located next to an abandoned hospital. We actually have what I think is one of the best representations of what a 50-50 hybrid garage and clubhouse could look like. So as you can see right here, you've got the garage, it says auto shop. You've also got the entire other entity of the building itself that looks to be a giant warehouse or a giant place to hang out, sort of clubhouse-like area. Now, this area also has a garage door that opens as well. That's another thing that I was looking for is, dynamic garage doors that are already opening in-game. Maybe that's a hint that Rockstar could ultimately be using them in some way, shape, or form. Now, the only reason I didn't love this location is because it looked like it was a Vagos-style garage. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that everything we do in this biker update is going to have to be tied to the Lost MC, but we do know that the Vagos is a rival gang of the Lost MC, so I'm not sure how perfectly that would work with the biker storyline. But as far as locations go, and as far as the aesthetics of the building, it is almost 100% spot on to kind of what I was thinking some of these biker clubhouse locations would ultimately look like. Now, there are plenty of other locations found within Blaine County and Sandy Shores, a couple which you'll see me run over right now. Again, I was looking for really a few specific things. Some of them are abandoned buildings. Other buildings I was looking for maybe just had a garage with an auto shop sign overhead that might have indicated that this could be used for bikers. And some of the auto shop garages are incredibly small, where it would almost seem as if only a biker would be able to use them as well. Like I said, there's other places even closer to Trevor where there's auto repair shops and even biker shops that would make sense. In fact, one of the buildings I stumbled across had an abandoned broken down bike on the roof and scattered all over the place. So those are sort of the hints I'm looking for. Very similarly to how Rockstar added Benny's into the game, they didn't just plop down Benny's at a random location. Benny's is pretty much all about lowriders, and Benny's location is pretty much at the intersection of three gangs that are featured in the Lamar missions, which are all about lowriders. So I do think location is going to be important here, and I think that that will be a big part in where Rockstar ultimately choose to add any of these locations. And there's also some places that I think would be pretty cool as well. We've covered this one in a previous video, but it's like an abandoned gas station that literally has like giant garage written on the side of it. So it's locations like that that I think could be super cool for us to use in Grand Theft Auto Online. And also Rockstar could also be utilizing the old Lost MC locations, as I mentioned earlier. The one in Slab City. Also, there's one in Grapeseed as well that we can actually visit and we can go see. It's just a simple house, but it's got a Lost MC banner on it. So maybe Rockstar will ultimately go in that direction where they turn regular size houses into clubhouses, kind of like how it was in the Lost and the Damned DLC. And ultimately, I do think that's what they're going to do, because just like in Further Adventures in Finance and Felony with the CEO offices, they just turned basic regular buildings like the Maze Bank and other buildings in the game into our CEO offices. So I can once again see them doing the exact same thing here with the buildings that are already established in game. And hopefully the ones I showed off in this video give you a pretty good idea of where they might ultimately end up be. Now, if you have any pretty cool locations that I didn't mention in this video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. I'm very curious to hear from you guys there, but those are all like the obvious spots that stuck out to me. Once again, if you have found a pretty cool building or secret spot that I didn't touch on, let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With out of the way guys, like I said, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.